Hi, it's me. I get real. This is March 10th, 2018. It's Sunday or Saturday, sorry. I'm already on to tomorrow. So today I gotta work like every day for many days. Take the kids to school or take one to school, maybe another one. Volunteer. The car's a really long appointment on Wednesday. Really long, really expensive. I'm actually freaking out about it. I don't like people tinkering around with my car. My plan was when I was going to buy a house and had a down payment. I didn't even need it because I did first-time homeowners and all this stuff. Or I could have qualified for some stuff, innocent programs, to help low-income people, to be approved, and all this stuff fell through. All the money I saved, the tens of thousands of dollars, went to my schooling because somebody promised to pay, didn't pay the classes, and then I can't even use that degree because I'm so busy working these other jobs, and that degree would cost me to be on call all the time. And it's getting to be where I feel like I'm being pushed towards that. And I'm toggling back and forth between just trying to make ends meet or take a chance in working in my field. And so far, working in my field has not paid anything. It's always negative numbers, sometimes closer to zero than negative. It's never gone over zero. Really sad to go to school for 17 years, to have that be your result. But I just have, I don't know, I just feel like within 10 days ago was like, what are you doing that is, like, what are you doing? Like, alright, what I'm doing is feeling like things happen for a reason. So I was at one of my other jobs, and I've seen probably everybody from this one job. At the second job I have, the first job I have paid my rent, like maybe close, like say it was, say maybe within $40 of the total rent, which that's not enough to live on. That's not enough to pay electric bill. That's not to put gas in the car. We have a dress code, and I had a video earlier where I had my little shirt, that little cowgirl shirt with my vest on. And so I basically stripped down, and I have the, this is not set up right, hold on. I have the, steampunk mama. Hold on, it's not really, there's a flap missing. So this is like this is a shirt I got on a lunch break at one of my jobs I got laid off of at a yard sale. And my steampunk skirts, so I came home and took off my dress pants, and they need to be washed anyway. Everything is such a mess right now. And this was under my outfit with all of this jewelry. If I act nervous, my daughter's like, you need your necklace, you need your bracelets. And then I needed onyx. I had this, like, I never had like onyx, but I had like an onyx addiction. Last year, like, I was sick, and I didn't get sick a lot before, and then we got, the drain in our car. So if you have the exhaust system, like, not the exhaust, but the heater or the air conditioner, we don't really use the air conditioner, but you put it on low heat, it comes out cool. Like, whatever water condensates in there was coming into the car, and there was like a puddle on the passenger side. And I had first thought something spilled because I was doing births or before that, and I had like a water bottle and vinegar and snacks and change of clothes. I was like, oh god, something must have gotten a hole in it. So I moved everything, and then every time we would drive, it would just fill up. So I thought there was a hole under the car, and that it was caused from, I was like, oh, every time it rains, I drive, and that happened to my mom's car. It rusted through the bottom because of the salt in Michigan. Her old Mercedes rusted through the bottom. Two of her Mercedes rusted through the bottom. had a car from Michigan I brought out here, and I told them I had a hole in the gas tank. They didn't believe me for like 3 years until I saw a puddle outside one day. And they're like, dude, they left the car out like, oh, you have a hole in the gas tank? Yeah, that's what I call it. I don't want to light the car, like ignition and spark something. I call a tow truck to take the car. They finally believe me because now they can see that they're like, wow, the bottom of your car is all rusted through, and your exhaust system is all rusted through. And they're like, they're like, I had these old cars with my little kids, and they're like they make money, but they referred me to this guy next door, did exhaust. And with that car, I think the same car, no, different car. They're like, your car's not holding oil. I saw this lady at church who was a single mom. She had these old cars, so she would always carry oil, and I was like obsessed with checking my oil. And I had gone to Jiffy Lube once. They looked at one of the cars and told me about this guy I was going to buy it from. He's like, be careful because he likes anyone, work on the car. And I go, for your advice, you look at the car, no charge. I'm going to come back for oil change. I went back for oil change, and I went out of the car. I was driving around. I went to my kid's daycare, and my son was acting weird. So I used to give him grandma hugs and kisses. So she was acting weird, not just normal. So she was acting weird, and he was acting weird, so I gave him grandma kiss instead of just like shutting the car door. He was in a baby seat or a toddler seat. I went back to the back seat and I gave him an extra hug and pat or whatever, kiss. And when I did that, because of his behavior being kind of like loopy, I saw a huge puddle on the car. And if I had just gotten in the car, I wouldn't have noticed it, and the engine would have blown up. Like, it would have been blown up, but it would have been dead. They came out and some lady came out all the way from the east side to put the oil filter and refill it with oil or something. I don't know. It was like all the oil they put in was on the ground under the car. I was like, oh my God. And I used to hear stuff fall out of the car, like clink, clink, clink. And I was like, oh my God, I think that was a bolt. And I just pull over and like look around my car. I was like, oh my God. Like, they were so old that people were tinkering with it, like praying, knock on wood, that when people start taking the car apart for normal standard stuff, that they don't start loosening up the wrong things. But yeah, I've had those a couple times where, like, we're not letting you have your car back. It's like, my car's like, your car is so bad right now, it's like dangerous. Like, because I'm poor, like, I have driven one car. I was even getting student loans. I couldn't afford brakes. And I couldn't afford brakes, so I just drove the car with 2 kids in the back seat, and we got pulled over because there was this like snaky S intersection where it's like, it's not that long of a yellow, but it's not like an intersection like that. So it's like, you gotta, like, if this turns yellow and you're here, you'd be better to stop, because you gotta like weave your way across the street. I think it was only a 4-way intersection. Sometimes you have those like 5 or 6-way intersections, but I said I knew that the brakes were bad, and I wouldn't be able to stop. I either would have stopped and up in the middle of the intersection when they had the green, or I would have tried to stop and like got out of control, and so I would like not follow people. I don't really want to follow people anyway, but I would be like really far from people and cautious, like on the freeway and at streetlights. And I said, it's like when it's raining, I'm not slamming the brakes on because we're going to be able to control and slide on the oil. So I would go through yellow. You're like, God, I hope there's no red light camera, because I feel like if I start spinning my car in the middle of the intersection and all these cars start hitting me, that would be a lot worse. And it's like, you have a semi-truck there and another car here, and they're like, it's green, we're going to go. They wouldn't see me out of control. Like, I was like so scared of how slippery it gets on the intersection, because your car's sitting, people's oil drips out, and then the rain, first rain, every time it's the first rain of the week or whatever, you have the oil on top of the water. It's just super slippery. Oh my God, it's so bad. It's like ice, basically. It's the science of it, the oil floating hydrocarbons. I went to that intersection and I knew that I would have had to slam on my brakes and that I probably wouldn't have stopped. I had the kids in the back and everything. You got more weight. And they were very light, but still you have more weight. Because I had an extra person in my car. Like, dude, how much this person weighs? It's going to take me a little bit longer to stop. Which is true, even you have stuff in your car, groceries, like water bottles, like, well, I could really put like a full tank of gas. Like, you try to peel out in front of traffic, and you're like, come on, car, let's go. Like, you go a lot slower. And the cop, like, made me pull my window, or roll my window down. And he's like, you need to stop or something. And something else happened. Somebody did. So either it was big door ding, or there was another incident where they hit and run was at Whole Foods, or a while ago before it turned to Whole Foods, and I had a hit and run in my car, and I was really scared because I had kids in the car, and they hit and run in the parking lot, and I was like, what if I had my kid? I drive in the parking lot, and people have their babies in the top, and they're putting their groceries in the back. Especially with two parents, part of me is like, yeah, it's nice your kid can watch you, but I would like, my most important thing would be have someone hold a cart and put the baby in the car seat. Like, that's just me though. But this time the kids were in the car and the groceries in the car, and we had like ice cream, frozen food, or cold meat. And I was like, last time we called the cops, we waited like 2 hours at the bank, and they're like, you waste our time. Someone was in a cab, and they slammed their door, but like it was abnormally hard up against my car. And I was like, oh my god, I love my car. Why'd you just do that to me? But like, they didn't consider it a crime and all that stuff. And I should have just gone outside the bank. And then you're like, oh, I'm at the bank waiting in line for an hour already. That's when you like actually have to stand in line. It's so slow. Oh my god, you're like, when I was waiting for a banker, and I was like so slow. So I didn't want to lose my spot. But I dropped my daughter off with she was in kindergarten. Me and my son were going to I had this group session I had to go to, and it was pretty much, I was homeless, so I had to go to it. So you can't just be like, oh, I have no brakes in my car. Yeah, I could take the bus, but I wouldn't be able to take the bus to my kid's school. I'd have to leave at 6 in the morning. Like, I could. But when you're really poor and you're in these housing programs and these shelters and you're working with DHS, they're like, you do this. If you miss like one day, like we're gonna like evict you. Like, if it's private agency, it's nonprofit, it's not associated with DHS. If one or the other says you're non-compliant, then they blacklist you, and what they do, they'll be like, you have to get a job, but you can't get a job. You have to go to school, but you can't go to school. You have to get a job, but it has to be from midnight to 6 a.m. And there's no daycare open at that time, so you get in trouble for leaving your kids. But if you don't do that, we're going to evict you. Like, they would make these demands that were literally impossible. And every time we moved, we had another list of demands around homeless, and if they got any word that you're waitlist, that you were next in line, even if you didn't get accepted, they would put a 30-day eviction notice on your door. So they're like, oh, we're gonna help you. You're such a good tenant. You're following the rules. Blah blah blah. Progressing, taking all these classes, like these bazillion classes that you don't even care. Nobody cares that you're taking. It's like wasting taxpayers' money. And then you come home, there's an eviction notice on your door, and they're like watching out their office window, and they're like, oh, this isn't anything about you. If we find out that you're close to getting another place, because we helped you on the wait list, it's not like private, like they would find out if are you like, then you get a 30 notice and start packing. And they're like, it's nothing about you, this is just what we do for everyone, because this is temporary, this is a shelter. But it's like when you feel like there's a notice on your door, you feel like, first of all, it's like open. It's not in an envelope. It's not private. It's not like, oh, congratulations, you're ready to move to the next place. Now we have until this date to move you out. Like, they're treating you like you are a criminal. And the reason that a lot of us were there is because we were in domestic violence shelters fleeing criminals who were hurting us and or our kids. Like, we are fleeing abuse, and we're surviving with our children, and we have nothing. and we're working. Like, I was working when I was in the homeless shelter, and it was really hard because of the lack of childcare, because it wasn't, like, if I was making $9 an hour and a babysitter wanted $10 an hour for 2 kids, like, it's so hard. Like, it's impossible. And I did the math before. I would have had to get out 1 or 2 credit cards for over 3 months at this job just to pay the daycare. I would bring home probably 1/3 of what the daycare costs. See what I mean? And it's not that I didn't apply for jobs and didn't. And I believe in prayer and meditation, and God led me to a daycare center. I still had to pay. Don't get me wrong; it wasn't free. Some people they got theirs free, and for me, I didn't. So there was most of the paycheck would still be gone, but it was more. The paycheck was more than zero, not much more than zero. But and then I got exploited by family members because, like, I can't imagine, like, when I was working, when I was with my ex-husband, I I would be with my kids all the time, but then there's times I would work or go to school and he would be with my kids, and so we didn't have to pay. But then he got really, really bad, and the kids got a little bit older, toddlers, and were they he wasn't watching them, and there's stuff that my kids are super intelligent, and there's stuff they would do to get what they wanted, and they're not thinking. That's why they're not just left. That's why humans were not just left alone in the wild to fend for ourselves. We're like learning right from wrong, or fire burns, or somebody was mad because I said you look away and you're cooking and the kid's trying to put a knife in that outlet, and somebody said you're the worst parent I ever heard of. Then when I worked at a daycare center, I was like, they have outlet covers for kids. They have latches on chemical, like under the sinks, so kids can't get under their, like, I was like, they have things on doors so kids can't open it. I was like high chairs, portable playpens, formula, bottles. Like, we never had that. We had one playpen and one swing and a walker and another activity thing that my daughter got. That's it. That was luxury for us. That was like, well, you got an activity thing. And whenever people gave us some old stuff from the 60s and 70s, dropped my daughter off, and I had to go to this. So you can't just be an adult and say, oh my God, it's an emergency. I live far away. Like, I would love to take the bus, but eventually one day I had to take my car in. Especially if you're single and you don't have, like, somebody and another adult, like a husband who's got a day off, even though Saturday morning, like, you go to work every day, so you're not allowed to take the day off. So I dropped my daughter off, and I was going to my group, which I said was mandatory, attendance required, and being black and being who I am, get scrutinized and I have to work harder than other people to get less than what they get. So if I were to miss a day or 2 or 3, like, my kids had hair lice back then, it's like nobody wants to deal with that. So, but it's like you get penalized, right? Like, if the absence policy is you miss 10 days and I miss 1, it's like you're going to get written up and just 2 strikes you're out. Like, my neighbors that are African descent, like, 2 strikes you're out. Like, you didn't even do anything. You didn't even do one thing wrong. It's like you're wearing a hijab and you have brown skin. Like, you did nothing wrong. I know you. And they target people. Like, people target people, and it's obvious. You know who's being targeted because you could see who's being talked to by whoever's in charge, the higher ups. And if you're in a group and you have a hijab and brown skin, and everyone else who doesn't have that isn't getting, it's like, you guys did nothing wrong. People have been there 25 years. You have been there 3 weeks. You have been there, 3 years. Like, they don't care if they're racist or if they want you out. They don't care if you're the best worker and you and your colleagues make the place run smoothly. You're not lazy. You're not on crack, passing out, convulsing on the ground, or shooting up in the bathroom. And, like, they don't care about your morals or your hard work ethic or the fact that you go to work every day. If you have emergency, you should get sick pay. You're not getting in trouble because your kids school is calling, is puking all over, has a fever, 104. Why should you lose your job over that? People are losing their jobs over that. It's illegal. And it's like, unfortunately, some people, they do have grandma or someone pick up the kid. But a lot of us, it's like single parent, we don't have anybody. It's so scary. Like, if you're not gonna throw your kid on an ambulance or an Uber and be like, oh, the ride is gonna come for you. I'll see you. I get out of work in 8 hours. I'll see you at the hospital. Like, no, like, then you would lose your kids for being like not caring about their health or not being there. Like, it's a back and forth. But then if you don't work and you lose your job, you're gonna lose your house and you lose your kids anyway. And then there's not people. People are there like looking at you like you really must. I've never had problems. I have no empathy. You really must like be trying to exploit the system or something. Like, people look at you like, it's like, why are you working 60 hours a week and you own 3 houses within the city limits in Portland and you're driving a luxury car? Like, how are you able to do that? You have no education. I asked you a simple question. Like, this lady was driving a Beamer and I was like, dude, your other car is damaged, you're gonna drive this Beamer, dude. Like, wow, how do you feel like having a luxury car? Like, you saw a German car before, it's basic VW. I was like, well, how do you feel? I was like, she goes, what's a luxury car? What do you mean? This is a what? And I was like, there's someone from different states not call it that. Like, we always grew up with Mercedes and Audi, and I told the teacher went around the room one day, third or fourth grade, said, what car do you ever drive? I go, Mercedes Benz. It has a little, symbol on the front and the back. He goes, no, you don't. Look, you liar. The teacher said it in front of everyone. He's writing on the board. Everyone's like, Ford, Ford, Chevy, Ford. Nobody said anything foreign, let alone Toyota, nothing. Especially not Mercedes. And I was like, Mercedes-Benz. I was like, I know what kind of... I was a smart kid. I tell you guys in another video, my mom is obsessed with cars. And I had to know every car on the road. And we took long road trips. So it was actually entertaining for me to be able to talk about cars. And she goes, oh my God, it's Studebaker. Oh my God. Like, oh my. It's like, I've had the exact same things with my kids. Oh my God, it's like antique. It's like vintage. Ah. And like, I see the Jeep Comanche truck and I'm drooling. Like, there's one up the street. I'm like, sorry if I pronounced it wrong, but we went to the signing was mandatory, and I was going downtown Portland, and I was driving like this, and I come from Michigan where it's flat, and so it's up and down. So it's like in the snow, this light turns yellow, and you're like, dude, like I didn't have a horn once, and I was really scared because I just got my horn fixed once in the snow, and I went to stop, and I kept going, and other cars started accelerating through their green light, and I was like wailing on the horn. Nobody stopped. Oh my gosh. I freaking, like, this is a really old metal car. I, like, bumped the curb. Like, ran into the curb. Like, I don't know. Like, I didn't, like, get in an accident and destroy my car. Like, I think I, like, slid into the curb and stopped. And it was the same day a bus was going. We were trying to get to school. None of our schools closed. And I was in biology lab. They're like, if you miss one day, you're going to fail. 5-credit class or whatever, you're going to fail the biology lecture and lab. I had to repay all that money. And I think I told you I got sexually assaulted by my TA in biology lab at Portland State University. And I ended up having to go to class every day. And my group mates would leave because they were buying the homework off other people. And I said, I don't believe in cheating. I'm going to do the work with, like, we're supposed to all set up microscopes or whatever we had. Everyone was supposed to take part and write the report together. You had to collect data, so you had to do the experiment, the 3-hour lab or whatever. And they would all leave, and they'd leave like after 30, 40 minutes, and I'd be there the whole 3 hours by myself. I got sexually assaulted while I was looking at a microscope. I was the only student, and I was alone with the TA, so I was looking down when it happened. I'm like, I can't tell you. I don't want to say it. I wish I had called police. I spent the rest of the term in class wanting to puke. So I was in the bathroom because I had been sexually assaulted by this teacher, and he had made rude comments about me afterwards. And he basically, like, I did all the homework, I passed it all, but he basically gave me an F after the assault happened. Almost like he was trying to show who's boss. It was like, you sexually assault somebody, you're not like flirting with somebody, you're not like, oh, you're a hottie, let me touch your breast. Like that's not even appropriate, but you're like you literally have someone come up to you and assault you. They're trying to take, like, my guinea pigs are always humping each other. Like, they're trying to take power over somebody and be in control of somebody. Going so far, like, if I pull up my papers, you will see that I passed the lecture and the lab. But he actually failed me, and I had to retake it. So this was the second time. And I passed everything, but he made the call. I should have called the police and made a report. And in the past, when I told the police, people robbed me, people assaulted me, they would say it's my fault, they would say I was involved somehow. Like, who in the world commits a crime against themselves and then goes calls the cops to report? Like, I was just like, are you on crack? Like, are you talking through your butt? Because I don't understand how you even coming up with this logic. Like, who does that? Like, I mean, there's people that, like, there's other people that throw ass on the face to their boyfriend, or like they lie. Like, there's people like that. I am not going to commit a crime against myself. I'm not going to sexually assault myself. I'm not going to steal my own car. Like, I just, in my mind, it's not even a thought. Like, it's not even I'm busy. I don't have time for that. Like, I just, when I see something like that in the news, then I think that person looks like they have a really low IQ, and I can't believe, like, I'm insulted that someone would think that I would stoop that low and be stupid enough to report a crime that, like, if I stole this jar, it would have my fingerprints all over it. Nobody else's. Like, has my saliva, has my DNA. Like, who would throw this out in the backyard and say it's stolen, have the cops come and test your DNA and fingerprints? Like, you're the only one who touched it. Like, I just, in my mind, that's like, you're really ignorant to do so. Like, and I am not that stupid. Like, and I don't have time for your drama. Like, you're accusing me of being, I don't know. Like, my animals are smarter than that. Okay, like, you're making me be underneath even an animal, like, intelligence wise. Or, anyways, our car wouldn't stop, and there was 2 cars in front of me, and I was going, like, say the speed limit there, I think it's 35. I think it's 40. Let's say it's 35. I can't remember on that stretch because there's no, it's like going right into downtown is pretty fast for a minute until you get downtown. So you're going 35 miles an hour, you push the brake, you can't stop. Now, because I knew I was broke and I couldn't afford brakes, I had done the muscle memory of not looking and pulling out the handbrake, which was an automatic car, and so I never used the handbrake. Maybe once in a while if I was on a super steep hill, because I was just like, I come from a flat place, we never use this, I'm going to use it just for fun, sometimes to see how it even works, because my brother dove sick, and I was like, how does this even work? And it makes a funny click-click noise, and I went and a couple of times, just like 1 or 2 times, and I practiced. I don't even know if I actually looked at it, but I just wanted to see if there was an emergency, because I knew I couldn't stop, and I stopped really slow. You had to mash, and those old metal cars was heavy. You can mash on the brake, and I guess it was metal against metal. There's no brake pads, and my son was in the back seat, and we were still going 35, and there was a car like so close, and another car for them at a red light, and there was another car or 2 in the other lane. So it's 2 lanes going the same direction. There was cars in the other direction, and then there was a business or a temple or something here, parking lot, and there was another road that would have wrapped. It was nice, whatever who has the right of way. So it was more like a three-way intersection with like a parking lot. I wasn't stopping. I was about to rear end some people with me and my kid in the car. All I could think was nobody, because you know how sometimes they get a green arrow and they get to go through the light, but you're still stopped. I don't know if they were starting to go or not, but I swerved with his hand, went up a hill into that parking lot, and I pulled up the handbrake at the same time. And because I had to go, I think, to the meeting, I told you, because they threatened to evict you if you. They said that every week you had to meet your case manager. If you mess up one time, one strike, you're out. And so I think my brakes were done. They weren't working at all. And I used the handbrake. And I was probably less than 10 blocks from where I needed to be. So I think I drove there and just used the handbrake and drove super slow. Because I had already lived in a tent with my kids. I already lived in a tent before they were born. My relatives, nobody, like, it's not, I always say this, it's not a responsibility of my relatives to take care of me and my kids, but it's unbelievable how they act like they want to control my life, but they would let their own toddler, infant, grandchildren, or niece or nephew live in a tent and be dirty and starving to death. Like, and my friend, her family was the same way. She was like all out homeless, couldn't afford food, but her mom's like, I'm giving you money because you need to highlight your hair. I can't believe you let it go dark. And she was like, Mom, I can't even afford housing. Like, if you're going to give me money, can I, like, use it for food? Like, no, I'll only give it to you if you highlight your hair. And it was like $160 she was going to give her. And so it's like, if you are going to be well-dressed, driving a luxury car, living in a big mansion, making a bunch of money at some prestigious job, they would probably be like, oh, we're going to help this person because they're narcissistic, and they'd be like, look, I helped her to get to where she is. But if you're dirt poor and your kids are literally about to starve to death, I almost starved during pregnancy and other times besides pregnancy. My metabolism was really screwed up. So I was really scared to go back to homelessness because I would have missed a class. It'd be the same like if you had diarrhea or something, you're just like, I still have to go to class. I can't drive myself to the doctor. Like, you just say, grin and bear it. Because these people are in control of my life. It's not like I'm renting a private apartment and I decided to not show up at work for a week or show up drunk and lose my job or have it be a layoff and not do anything wrong. But you're in a private place and it's like you follow the rules, you pay your rent. It's not like you need to jump off the Burnside Bridge with a bungee cord and your baby in your hands, and that baby can't be connected to you. You better hold on tight. Like, they would tell you, like, if you had to jump off a building and land in a pool and do a dive, like, if you didn't do it within a week, they're gonna evict you. Like, they tell you anything that was impossible. And all I did was pray on my knees, literally, because it was so hard. It was so impossible. And my neighbors would be at home watching TV, cleaning their house while their kids are at school, sleeping around, doing drugs. And then they would be like, oh, I'm all messed up. I'm on disability now. And like, even though I can work or volunteer all the time, I just don't tell the disability people like about they're not supposed to be doing the work, they're volunteering and all this extra stuff. And they're like, gosh, I don't know why they treat you so poorly. Oh my God, what did you do wrong? Why are they treating you so poorly? And I'd be like, I don't know. And somebody's like telling me that I couldn't work and go to school. They tested me because I had a dentist appointment. My teeth all rotted when I was homeless and pregnant. I was homeless and pregnant and homeless. And they said, see, I told you couldn't do it. So I had a yearly cleaning. And it was always right when school started. So I would do me and the kids all like in one day, or at least the kids, they had to go out to Tualatin. At least the kids, I would do at the same time. So I had to go where the heck. I was living on the east side. Way the heck for other end of Washington County on the west side. It was really far. I didn't know anything. They go, get on I-5. The first time, they're like, get on I-5. I got on I-5 and I was just like driving in the wrong direction, like towards Seattle. So the can you give me better directions? Like, I pulled over and used the old flip phone. Can you give me better directions? Where are you? Like, downtown? Like, I think I was going the wrong way. Like, you're not going to make it. I was like, you told me to get on I-5. You didn't tell me what direction. Like, I literally had never even heard of Tualatin. And I was just like, that's how I was back then. No map. No GPS. I mean, it was the early 2000s. Like, sometimes now you can be like, I mean, I used to be the queen of MapQuest, Yahoo Maps. But before, I didn't have a computer that worked. I didn't have internet. I didn't have a printer. I didn't have a home for P6. So I didn't have a computer, nothing. So it would have been helpful if they said, go I-5 south from where you are, take exit such and such, and take a left. Which I remember how to get there. But we are on Medicaid. They kept canceling our appointments. And I would have to take the day off of whatever I was doing in advance, and then the last minute they'd be like, we're going to reschedule your appointment for like 3 months down the line. My son was supposed to get sealants, and he didn't get the sealants, and every tooth didn't have a cavity, ended up with a cavity. The sealants would have saved it, and they told me what a horrible mom I was, and how I was giving him all this candy. I didn't give him any candy, no soda. He did eat some apples, grapes, carrots, brushed his teeth every night, but me and my son got bad teeth. I was pregnant with my son and nursing my daughter. And there was no formula, no baby food. So it was nursing for a really long time. My teeth started crumbling out of the side of my mouth. And they, like, literally broke to pieces. I had no insurance. Finally, my mouth started swelling up. My mouth started swelling up. I had tooth infection. The kids' dad refused to go. We didn't know what Medicaid. I never heard of Medicaid, so my kids were like several years older. Never only went to a doctor once. My daughter didn't have any insurance. And they said, do you guys have insurance? We went to the DHS, like, no. They're like, did your husband get it through work? I said, no. They said, this yellow piece of paper, have his boss sign it. And will, when we find out you don't have when you don't have access to health care through work, we'll give you Medicaid, and you need to take care of your health and your kids' health, vaccines and all that. You had no money. I had no underwear. For years, I had, like, no underwear, no bras, no socks. Like, socks would have been, like, a luxury. Like, I can't imagine. Maybe I had some socks. I know my ex-husband had everything because he was going to work. And so, I was always trained when I was a kid that you're nothing. You don't even deserve scraps. Like, that's how I was treated when I was married as well. You don't even deserve the scraps. If you were to have a scrap, it's going to go to somebody's cat or dog outside. Some stray cat will get the scraps before you do. So you're basically starving. So when I left that relationship, I got really obese because I was so used to not having any food. My body just, like, hoarded the food and calories. Like, I wasn't overeating. But when you go from 0 to 200 calories or less a day, 0 to 200 calories a day, when you go and you eat 800 calories a day of bread and rice and old milk that you got from the food pantry, my body's hoarded it. It wasn't like fruit and vegetable. And even I was eating fruit and vegetables, no salad dressing, and a little orange, a handful of nuts a day. People are like, you have a problem with nuts and bananas. Like, that's all I ate today. I don't eat 1,000 calories, so I can't afford it. I was going to look at Whole Foods or Wild Oats. They said, that's why you're fat, because you eat bananas. You should never eat bananas. This. And what I found out, my metabolism was screwed up. And I had food intolerances. So anything I had food intolerance caused severe bloating. So some days I would do a detox and not eat those foods. I didn't realized I was kind of doing improv type elimination diet, and like my body was away from those foods I was intolerant of. And this sucked when I worked daycare. I would have to go to the bathroom like every 5 minutes. It was really bad. Like so. Imagine in a day I would lose even if half a gallon of fluid that was being retained every time I ate these foods that my body won't won't like. So a gallon of water. It's not exactly 10 pounds, but it's almost like 10 pounds or less than, or a little bit more than, or less than. So it's like not necessarily that you're fat. Like people with ascites or like severe belly bloating or CHF, they're just like basically a book. It's not your fault. You're fat. People weigh this off right for bed. No food, no fluids. Don't use the bathroom. And the people were eating foods they were intolerant to, and just the air, the moisture in the air, they were gaining weight from the time they went to bed to the time they woke up. Like their body was getting fatter, like water weight gain without even drinking water, just from the atmosphere. But some plants don't have dirt; they're gonna get stuff from the air, moisture, or whatever. And so I went and I had a car, and I went to a treatment thing with the group, and I told the people, "Oh, I'm so stressed. My brakes are out. I've been using the handbrake. I had to use the handbrake to get here. I almost got in a really bad accident with my son in the back. I had to get my daughter after this. So before we would take the bus, and my kids would take the bus, and I would go there on the bus and come back, and then wait for them at the bus stop. We had to move. We had to. It was mandatory because it was homeless, but you were in a shelter, so you had temporary housing. They wouldn't let you stay there for more than a few weeks or whatever. So I didn't. When I was homeless in a tent, my ex wouldn't let us live in the city because he lived like that before. He's like, "This is very dangerous. I don't want you like that." So we were out more of the woods, and you see the city with people with the paper bag bottles, people shooting up on the sidewalk downtown. You find needles in parks in the drain in the bathroom, be full of hypodermic needles. You'd find drugs in the garbage cans, like just walking through the park. And was homeless. Had different types of homelessness, from couch surfing to living outside a tent, living in my car, to living in shelters, to staying with relatives. And my relatives had the audacity to talk about what a brat I am and how I have so much. You see what's in my house. All this stuff was given to me. Any of the books I bought for school was because school told me to buy them. And I owe about $500,000 for these few books that you see. The newer ones. The older ones relatives gave me. I didn't ask for them. I told you to go out hunting for it. The piano. What you see here is a lot of boxes from USPS. And then a lot of these clothes are given to us, and same with the schooling dress code. I had to buy some clothes. A lot of the clothes I have are hand-me-downs from someone else. My daughter's clothes I wear because I lost weight not on purpose. I lost weight because of lack of food. And before I used a lot of energy every day to track calories, to exercise, to work out, and like force myself to eat fruit and like say, if I eat this half a banana at night, my stomach's growling, I'm going to go over my calorie limit. So I'd be like, okay, you got to not eat that. Like, I used to be like that and, like, lose some weight. And then I lost like 80-something pounds, and then I gained some weight. My son had been stressed out. No one would help us. Nobody. I had no friends. I had no relatives. I had people, my kids' grandpas telling me to send their kids to foster care. They, my kids were stressed. Like, these people lived in a house with mom and dad, got married, had a family, had a house they owned, either had a job, retirement, or disability, or Social Security, and they were able to stay to relax, watch the sunrise, watch the sunset, sleep whenever they want. And here I am running around trying to be a parent and throwing your kids in daycare centers and having these people assault me, and then I'm trying to be the strong one in the family, trying to come in my room, burying my face in the pillow, crying because of pain. And you think you have a friend. I call this lady from class, like, don't ever leave me alone. Please, please. She did this to me. I said, every week we got like so many weeks of class left. Please don't leave me. And she had a crush on a teacher that assaulted me, and I was like, dude, please don't leave me. I didn't tell her everything. She'd be like, yeah, right. Like, she was like in real big high heels. She was foreign. She had really blonde hair. She was trying to. She was like hardcore. She was frowning my globe. I don't know. Americans wouldn't talk to me except for this one lady who was super tall. Sometimes there's like different people that are really tall and they're redheads or something. But that, like, people that are a little bit different, not people that are big. People that are big or fat, they don't like me. I was fat. I was fat. All those people trying to go up to 250 pounds, me only like 5'5" or whatever. But there's only a few people, some natural bonds. Like, mostly the only people in this whole country that would talk to me are immigrants or people that were descended from like one level from an immigrant. That's more rare, but so when I'm in school, the Americans are not talking to me, and they exclude me from the groups. And the teachers say you need to work in a group. They exclude me anyway. I was like, hey, I go to every group. I need to work with you. I need to work with you. I found out how smart I was when in biochem they wouldn't let me in their groups. Nobody. And I did the project by myself, and I'm like done in like 25 minutes. Like, it was like a 2-3 hour class. I was like, wow. When we took turns answering this, and people were going back and forth, like, these honor students, they would get honors if they didn't deserve honors because I saw their grades. The teacher, like, they are like the type that looks like a doctor, like a white doctor or this. And we were doing take-home tests, and I go to teacher, I said, I'm going to go through the whole test by myself. It's open book. I said, we would ask, I was really stickler for rules. Like, some people are like, again, they buy a test off people, they don't care. The smart people did it, or they had a test from last year. A lot of people, they passed the test from last year. They'd be like, we all got A's. We memorized tests from last year. Why did you fail? And it was like, these questions even make sense. Like, we didn't even learn this in class. It's like we're taking like nutrition, and they're talking about like Forrest Gump movie. What's the line? Like, there's a lot in our notes, and we didn't even talk about it in class. So that was every class, and I tape recorded it, listened to it over and over again, and like even if I had used the bathroom, I still listened to tape recorder. I did not miss a thing, and like yeah, like it's just so sad. But like these honor students would be like, I just tell a teacher, if we really get stumped on something after we went through a test by ourselves, can we ask a classmate? If not, it's okay. I just want to know what you think. Like, well, it's open mic, go ahead. Like, but yeah, do your best to work on it on your own. Like, I'm going to work on it on my own because I'm going to be a doctor and I want to know this stuff. I don't want to buy a test from somebody. I want to know the answers for myself. And some things are inconsistent, so I want to know if it's inconsistent to you. I want to know if you're calling this a knee and this an elbow. Like, I had some people in class be like that stupid and they get an A. And I knew, obviously, like, all of this, I wake my kids up early. I'm practicing for palpation class. I'm practicing for this. Oh, Mom, we try to sleep. But, like, I don't care if I test in 2 hours. I would, like, go through it inside out. I think I would set up my pillow on the bed and pretend it was a person. I would like do all practice like hardcore and memorize all the notes and read the books that nobody else actually owned. And I would get an A. She would grade me. You got an A. Oh wow, you did such a great job. I'd come back next week, scribble out the A, put a C minus. Are you freaking kidding? What did you do? The teacher, I don't think you deserve an A. I was like, the person over here is calling this a knee, calling this a foot, and you're telling me, hey, first of all, this test is not impossible, and I know I studied. Like, sometimes you're like, oh dang, I got a B minus and I barely studied. Like, sometimes you know your kid's sick, or your car breaks down, or you like lost your notes, which has happened before, and you're like, thank God I got as good of a grade. But sometimes you're like, I know I aced it, and I feel good, I feel confident, and you know, like if I go to the store and the lower price tag says $4.99, and the sign here says $4.99, the date's good, and you get through the line, they charge you $8.99, you're like, you know that they're ripping you off. You know they're cheating. And sometimes, again, you grin and bear it. You just say, forget you. I'm not shopping here anymore. You're like, that's my hard-earned money you just stole from me. So do I want to make a scene? You know, do I want to talk to a manager? That happened to me before. Like, a couple of times, I'm like, take a picture of the sign. Because they don't put the price out. The old days used to $4.29. They just type it in the calculator. I take a picture and I throw it on. And they're like, oh, it's ringing up this price. And I'm like, here's my picture. And I hate doing this. And I'm like, they'll call that department like, yep, she's not lying. That sign is up here right now. Charge her the price that it says on the sign. It's like, they're not just gonna, like, they see me come up, they're the same person. Oh, gosh, she's trying to take advantage of me. But when you go to the store, like, this happened to me so many times over since I've been in Portland. You go to the store and you get home and you're like, oh my God. This was supposed to be $3.99. They charged me $6, and I bought 4 of them because I thought they were on sale. And you're like, oh my God, how much money did I just waste? Like, every single time, people, like, they have this one that says chicken $7.99 at Albertsons. They said, if we ring it out wrong, you get the item for free. So I was like super on a budget. These are the days that I would add it up in my head or on a calculator. And say I said $83. I have $85. I'm gonna spend $83 so I can have $2 left over, and it would ring up $98. Like, how many times have you guys done that? Like, you know you added it, and sometimes I would do hash marks or whatever. I'd be like $387. I just put $4. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, I add up just so that I know I'm well under my limit, my 83 or whatever I was gonna spend. And I told the lady, I was like, it rang up wrong, I get that free. She's like, no, you don't. She goes, I'm just going to fix the price. I go, put your sign right here, and then line behind. Everyone's huffing and puffing, and she's huffing and puffing, like, you guys can't go through line because this jerk. And she had to call a manager over, and they didn't want to give me this stupid chicken. And I live right next to the store, like right down the street. I shop there. My neighbors didn't have cars. I used to drive in there. It was you had to walk down a street that didn't have sidewalks, and we were still homeless. And I drive my neighbor there, and we spent so much money. And they had this policy, like, not only, like, how many people have gone through that line thinking that this thing was $5 and being charged $8? Like, how many hundreds of dollars have they already made? So some people like me, they budget, they're like, oh, I'm not going to buy it if it's $7. I'll buy it if it's 4 or 5. Like, and then I was always sweating in line. That's probably what my clothes stink, because I never had enough money. Like, a lot of stuff would ring up a lot higher. And you have 2 little kids, so you're not staring at their computer screen because it doesn't really show up for you. And I would have to put stuff back. Like, okay, we're not getting bread. Okay, we're not getting meat. Okay, what else is expensive? Cheese. We're not, like, I would just put everything back. And I wasn't buying anything extra. Like, if you need to make lunch, if you need breakfast, we never bought dinner. Like, someone commented, like, wow, you've got breakfast and snack slash lunch all together, but you don't have much dinner. Some young guy said that. And I realized I don't have much dinner, but I have to spend like $20 a week or for 3 people. And so I went to food pantry. They would be rotten food, pretty much 100% rotten food. We got a lot of grain moss and bugs in our food. So even you came home with a box of food, all of it, ended up in the garbage anyway. So basically, you're disposing of it. Like there would be nothing left. Like sometimes they put a bottle of water in there or a small bag of chips, like Funyuns or something. It's like that would be the only thing. Like the rotten dairy, the moldy vegetable or fruit, the rotten meat, and then you think you have dry food pasta. Oh, that should be good, and then it's full of grain moss. And so that happened a lot, and I did eat some of that food as a grown up. My kids refused to eat that rotten food, and I ate some, and I got sick a lot, and fat, and I was like starving. My kids had their spines sticking out. I had gym class, do sit-ups, crunches on a hard floor. So my daughter would have like bruises on her back, and I was like trying to, like, they would invite us homeless people to soup kitchen dinners like a couple of times a year. And I really made it. We had to travel across the river because they were at a good school, go back to the ghetto, and I really made an effort to go get the food. And we had other events where they would have for the school, like plays, or they had powwows, and they said you gotta pay like $5 for food for one person. And we would sit there. One time we sat there and everyone was eating, and I was in the bathroom praying with the kids in a stall, and I was, that was probably one of the hungriest times the three of us ever were. You didn't even have, like, we were so poor, you didn't even have some Ritz crackers, some raisins. You had nothing, like, not even a piece of gum, not even a drink of water, unless you found a water fountain somewhere, which are very rare nowadays. And I, I said, "Come on, kids, let's pretend we're praying and fasting. We can't afford the food." And everybody told me what a horrible mom I was. And they didn't know all this stuff that I'm telling you about how skinny the kids were. People are like, wow, why are your kids so skinny and you're so fat? And I realized, say I ate 1,200 calories a day and I worked out 2 hours every single day. Let's just say that my weight still ballooned up to almost 230. And I realized in stressful people, stressful jobs, stressful situations, my body weight just ballooned. When I lost my job, another lady was underweight and she was blonde, her hair wouldn't grow, and it was thinning. She lost the job or quit. Her weight went to normal. She wasn't so scrawny. Her hair grew. People probably said she was happy. And then when I lost the job, I got laid off. My weight went down and my hair grew. And then I had to get rid of toxic people in my life. My weight went back down again. My hair is like, for you, your hair, if it was this long, it would be short. But for me, this is like the most hair I've ever had in my life. Like, this is like, what is going on? Like, for you, it would be like, wow, you have like nothing. Like, this is like bald. I was like, God, if I ever have a boyfriend, I'm gonna have to be like, first things first. Like, my hair here, this is like really like a miracle that I can even do that, because this hair, and I did it before I started wearing the headbands. It's like, this hair just won't grow. I saw some thinning on my mom and grandma's hair, and I think a lot of hair loss like this. So I don't know if it's genetic, because it's not. My daughter thinks it's because I wear these headbands, so I take them off a lot. But it's like, that happened before I was wearing the headbands, so it could be how the way I sleep, maybe. Um, but yeah, if I ever dated somebody, so I'm gonna move on. I don't know. I think I'd ask a relative to use a credit card to fix the car brakes. We rode the bus most of the time, but then when we moved across the river, we needed a car to get the kids to school. anywhere we lived. The kids' school was in this very nice neighborhood. It's very difficult to take the bus to. And even where I live now, it's like 7 minute drive. And on the bus, I think it's about 2 hours, hour and a half. It sucks. Like 7 minutes. Like people are like, "You're $1 stupid for not riding the bus. It's not fair to you." Like again, it could be a 2 hour bus ride. Again, to her work is 7 minutes. And when I lost my job, she got hers right away, and I didn't want to deter her. I wanted her not to work because she was a full-time student. But I said, dude, somebody got a job. I have applied for hundreds of jobs. I'm up all night, every night. And she says that or she says, I say that I was just like, oh, I need to do midwifery training. Oh, I need to do this. I was doing midwifery training and in school. So it's like I was maybe not working, but I was freaking gone all day, every week, every 7 days a week. I was gone doing classes and midwifery training. I just wasn't earning money for it, so I needed to squeeze a job in there somehow. It was really difficult with wanting to pick her up, and the two girls were together, and someone was trying to steal their phones and assault them on the bus. Some young drunk people. The bus driver actually kicked them off, but I was like, oh, it's so nice that you and the neighbor get to go together sometimes. Like, that's the time sometimes that you get harassed. And there was a killing. The neighbor is Muslim. There was a killing on the other side of the river. They were trying to hurt these girls. One was not Muslim and one was. I don't know if the first one was Muslim, but she didn't have a hair cover on. The one girl. And this guy killed one or two guys by puncturing her. And one, I can't remember, but one survived. He's got a lot of, I think, survivor's guilt, but 3 men stood up. I think one was a veteran or a military, Middle East veteran or something like that. Young guy. I believe there was 3 guys that said leave these girls alone, and the other guy like stabbed the 2 in the neck, all 3 of them in the neck. And I believe 2 died. The girls fled, so they were trying to track down the girls for questioning and stuff. And that was, I believe it was on the MAX train. I don't think it was on the bus, but still, there's a lot on the east side. There's a lot of crime, killings at the MAX stations. You're waiting out there by yourself, and you got a phone, you got a bag, you got something that looks like valuable. People message you, people. Someone got in a fight because they thought some guy was looking at their girlfriend. Anything. It can happen in a car. People shoot each other at a freeway. Someone's going through the stoplight after I was always pulling out. I honked my horn. I was like, be careful. Every time I do that, I said, don't. It's not worth honking your horn. The only problem is that they are literally about to cause a car accident, and you're like, it's not like, stop, you're about to hit a kid. Like, it's already like, okay, fine. If I stop, there won't be an accident. But this guy, if I didn't see him, there would be an accident. Like, you're trying to be like, wake up. Like, and then I tell myself, don't put your foot in your mouth. You need to pay attention. I'm going to change the subject. I was writing my story today, and I felt really, like, today was really hard at this job. And I just wanted to say that I kind of wrote in my journal, like I was trying to write my novel, but then it came out of how I don't have friends or anyone interested romantically, like, even like friendship. Like, what if a guy is like, hey, you want to catch a movie and like go to tea? Like, I've had guys in 2016 ask me that a couple, like 3 times, and I was like surprised. One guy didn't have a phone; he was using his neighbor's phone to call me, and I don't even know if that guy was 18. Like, that's scary. Like, he's like, wow, you're nice. You're the type of person that I want to buy a coffee and a pastry at Starbucks for. So I was like, whatever. Like, I mean, if I found out he was not it was just friend because it was from one of my meetings, and he was from near where I grew up, back in the Midwest. Um, but he couldn't. He left a few messages, but he didn't. He's like, don't ever call these phone numbers I'm calling from. Sorry, I missed your call, or you missed my call, and it fizzled out. And um, that one guy was just kind of flaky. And he was really like dishonest. He was pretty good at lying. He was charming. Um, the other guy was trying to get someone to fix his former girlfriend, who was more than 20 years younger than him. None of my business. But I didn't know if he was interested in me. I didn't want to be the rebound woman anyway, but what he was looking for was someone. I was more his age, and he was trying to get somebody to mentor her so she could be more mature, and he must have really wanted to be with her. I was like, why don't you just be with somebody your own age instead of having a 40-year-old lady mentor your 20-year-old girlfriend on how to be a woman? It's a little bit flattering, to tell you the truth. Like, she was supposed to call me, she never did. I do get a lot of calls that don't leave messages, and I don't answer if I don't recognize it, unless something in my gut says answer it, or unless I left a couple of messages that were super time sensitive. I would take a chance and answer a phone. I don't like doing that. I don't like screening calls. It's really annoying when you're a business owner to screen calls, because a lot of people will not leave a message, especially the nature of my job is confidential, and it's hard to be like, talk about, like, you don't take, it's like email. It's like, don't send personal things, just give me your number so I can figure out what's, like, by phone or whatever, or we can make an appointment. So right now, I I wrote in my story, I was trying to figure this out, and I had three, I forget what the third one. Shoot, that's what I'm trying to write. So the first, I was trying to figure out how to turn it in. So I'm the main character, and I'm trying to remember how to do the old. There's a story within a story. So in my story, the character that I'm writing about. So I'm the real author, but then imagine me being in the story, talking about myself, writing a story about, and then there's the novel. So basically, you're within the story, and I'm typing a novel, so it's eventually going to be readable. And within that novel, that's the sci-fi story about it. That sci-fi story, the main character gets into old Windows, gets into DOS, and gets into basic computer language, and starts playing around with it, and some kind of like spiritual message or some kind of connection happens. I don't know if it's like, you have like a bank or like a padlock where you do just the right combination and it opens something up. And it's not necessarily a Pandora's box, but it's like, wow. And so I was trying to turn part of the middle layer of the story, which is the author who's writing the sci-fi, to have a love story. And it was either one, she liked, and a lot of this is based off of true, like, life, it's fiction, but based off of, because I gotta stem it from something. So one of them there was, for real life, like, there's a couple guys I know that were hurt, or they were hurt and lonely and kind of grumpy, and but they were like the type of person you would like trust your kids with, even though they think they're crap. Um, and like one person, like, in real life, I sensed that they needed a hug, like, and almost like I did this where I couldn't sleep, like, this is real life, and I was like feeling like they were with me on a spiritual plane, and this is really creepy. This is like embarrassing for me to talk about. But this person is kind of like weird, like flawed in some way, like how I am missing hair. It's like this person's like something that's 1 or 10% of your 100% of your body is like kind of weird. And fixable, like if I were to really get in some hair growth stuff, or even I had to temporarily put on extension, or I could do like a weave or something, but I'm not planning to do it. Like I could fix my hair somehow, but it's like, oh well, this is who I am. Nobody liked me before. What? Who cares? Like, who am I trying to impress? This is the real me. That's how I feel. And the next, I'm trying to decide. The next one was, what's the second one? I might have all the above. The second one, I was going to write a part 3 of my book, which was actually an old story, or part 2. The story I keep talking about, the guy with the puppy, that was part of it, but that wasn't more recent. That was kind of beach house story, meeting somebody by chance. Like, you never know, you could be out at your mailbox and someone could drive by and be lost and be like, hey man, can you help me? Like, wow, you're beautiful, what's your number? Like, I've had that happen before at a grocery store. I decided to walk from the pet store to the office store to the grocery store instead of driving. It was like really big, it was windy over there. And one day I did that and I was wearing purple shoes, like purple Converse. And this guy pulled up and I was like, yeah, you're cute, what's your number? And my son was so happy. I met a guy and he got my number. I'm so happy. He was demanding. I think it was in Oaks Park, and I never did stuff like that with my kids, so I didn't want to. He was like, call me back right now. I don't know. I think this happened to someone I met online. Like, call me right now. I was like, listen, buddy, I am busy. I will call you in an hour, and they were not. They were not okay with that. So I just never talked to these guys again. One of them was, this happened to me on yesterday. I was in an appointment and the phone kept ringing and text. And someone's like, who's this? And I was telling like, who is this? To somebody who usually doesn't speak English. And they were laughing at me like, what the heck is she talking about? They're looking at the phone, who is this? And they're like, I think their phone was ringing too. And they're like, who is this? And I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm in the Matrix style world. This is not real. This technology is weird. And I finally got home later, and this guy's like, you called me, and he screenshotted it, and I was like, I didn't call you, dude, like, I was like, maybe it's a glitch, and I know my phone does weird stuff, but I even looked at the log last night just to double check, and I was like, who is this? And blah, 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 I go, who are you? And it was like, at the end, he goes, I don't know, I didn't call you, it must be a glitch, and he's like, oh, sorry, something, something, and I signed it Mia, and he's like, sorry, he's like, that's cool. I don't know. He said something like, such and such me, or like, have a good day. And I was like, listen to the message. He's like, hey, yo, I just missed a call from this number. If you recognize my voice, call me back. Like, and I was like, who is this guy? So this happened in real life yesterday. I was like, I could use that in my story. Just be like, somehow the phones are connecting. And who's that man on the other end of the phone? He was a soulmate. Like, you're like, I don't know, but you sound nice. Let's talk. Like, I've had this happen before where people are like, you called me, I didn't. Usually, like, weird stuff happen. Like, a lot of times, phone numbers, I don't know. I had one where the guy kept calling over and over again, and he was, this is in my story today, and I called the first touch of Peacock. He said, hi, hello, happy new year, happy year with the dog, blah, 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 blah. And he just kept going on and on. So I wrote that in my story because that happened in real life. This guy was trying to call me. I was driving, and I pushed, like, on my Bluetooth. I just, like, in the car, or go straight to voicemail or whatever. And he kept saying, hello, hello. So maybe, sometimes when you push it, they know that either your phone is dead, it goes straight to voicemail. But if it usually rings 4 times, you know it rings 4 times. This time only ring once and goes straight to voicemail. I usually think someone's, like, avoiding the call or whatever. And the next one is, I can't remember. Oh, I think it was, I was gonna add in my story that I was doing, I applied for a job doing assistant teaching, or teaching assistant in telecom, intro to telecom, intro to the history of telecom. Because I was thinking about my telecom class when I had learned about the steam computer from the 1800s that added numbers. And it took up a big room. It was, I don't know, coal, steam powered, pre electricity, and it literally added. And I told me that was in class. So that was the first computer, was non-electric, and I I ended up I ended up um how do I want to say this, guys? You can't like date your superior. It was like I had to work with somebody who was a different class. So there was a guy I met while I was at the college teaching, and I thought I don't have confidence to teach, but I always take the lower level jobs or apply for lower level jobs because I think, what if they throw tomatoes? I always say, if they throw tomatoes at me, get a basket, and please don't use rotten ones because I need to eat those for dinner tonight. I'm hungry. I have a joke about that. Bring a basket with a pillow in it so I can catch the tomatoes when they throw them at my bad jokes. And so in this story, within the story, I'm teaching this class because I don't have money from the other jobs that I have, and I need an additional job. And I'm, because of like for real life Mia, two extremes, like the extremes. So like really want to be into technology, want to have a supercomputer connected to my dryer outlet or my oven outlet, and the other person wants to sit in the mud in the woods and listen to the birds chirping as the sun rises and swim, clothing optional, and some clean water. My kids are there, I want clothes, but wear like a nice little swimsuit and go into nature. Go look and you ever meditate on a campfire? That's one of my favorite things, is just to watch that flame. And in the class, I'm the TA, and I have a group of people that I need to go to a lab or somewhere to be on Wi-Fi or whatever, so we can do this project or to do something that we need to do. Like we had classes where we did homework in the class, extra classes we had for minorities, take extra quizzes to get prepared for the main lecture because our people, we were Hispanic, Black. There was whites, a Spanish guy, like European Spanish. There was whites, there was Native Americans. What mainly was blacks from Detroit, a suburb of Detroit. And we were known to have the lowest graduation rates despite our entrance rates. Our entrance rates were low. Entrance rates were low, but our graduation rates were super low. If non-existent. We weren't getting through the 4 years of college, but it was low. And so what happened was, okay, that was real life. So in my class, I go to two extremes as a TA, where I want to be one with nature, but we know we do our homework through technology, even if it wasn't a telecom, even if it was a speech class, even if it was a poetry class. You just type up your paper, print it, do your homework, whatever. Get this assignment, get the syllabus, do all that stuff online. And I think it's not a student, it's not a superior, it's like another GA or something like that, or someone random. I meet. I had another one where I met some at the library and I kept seeing them over and over, and I was trying to write about that DOS Windows slash basic A scenario that I was talking about. I had two different ones. I met somebody at the library, so I was doing research, but I was trying to get away from my home in type on the computer. And this guy was the same thing. And then we saw each other at the park one day on a really nice day. It's like, hey, I see you a lot at the library. I was like, oh yeah, I see you too. And then we end up going to watch a movie at someone's apartment or something like that. That was like a couple of days ago. I'm trying to figure out where to go with this. I don't date, so I do like, I write stories. And then a story within a story, like a big action movie or not science fiction, superhero movie. I always turn to love stories, right? So for me, I imagine love stories because I'm so single that I always imagine myself as just always being single, and I can't imagine what it would be like to meet a man who was interested in me. Like, I can't imagine it, and so since I can't imagine it, I'm making myself, like, what if you say, okay, I'm going to go to school, and then I'm going to get this job, and then I'm going to pay off my loan. Like, you think of a plan, and it doesn't always work, but it gets you out of bed every day. Like, it gets you hopeful. It gets you working towards your goal. I got to get something out that I sold, and I don't really know what it is at this point in time. So let's just say it's another teacher, it's not a student, it's not a superior, another TA my level, and I ended up, okay, so not about dating, but so this guy is like, oh, okay, so the class is like, oh, we're gonna sit out and like sit on the grass and watch the clouds go by, but then we're gonna go into some, oh, I just this box. We're gonna go into some room in this college and like, use this really good internet, computer lab or whatever the case may be, right? And it's not either. Shoot. I got a package I'm gonna deliver and I just gonna write so I end up I'm scared. I had this new item that was in the package. I had another item that wasn't, and it was discolored, and I was like, oh, I felt like in my heart this sent it, and I felt like I should have told the customer, no, this one is discolored for whatever reason. I felt like they're reminding me. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, it's just fiction, and I'm making this up, and I tell you guys on videos that I don't post that. I mean, I'm into posting, I don't. I'm like, hey, you guys, I get really like, is this a different one? I get really like, I totally zoned out. Someone's trying to sell us power pad. There's a whole, like, the email, 63 new matches or power pad. Nintendo Power. God, I do not need another thing in my house. I told the kids that my dream is to sell all the stuff I don't want and hook up every old piece of electronic together, fix it. If the CD-ROM drive is broken, fix it. If it has a virus, get on there. Don't connect it to anything else. Don't contaminate any other device. Don't connect to the internet. Remove the viruses. Like, I told myself, like, my dream is to do that, fix all this technology, and then make the house into a museum. So you have, like, I should design it, because I don't want to get rid of every single book. I have a hard time getting rid of really old ones. It's like, say I had one bookshelf that had books, and say I even had it in a glass case so they don't get dusty or get bugs in them, and then I had one desk that had two turntables on it with the records there in that system with the disco light, and then say I had another area with an old TV hooked up to an old video game system, and say I had another area over here that has the piano and the instruments, and then say that I have another area that has, I don't know, I'm looking at this dressy dress. Say I had another area that had a trunk with dress up clothes in it and a rug that was all clean like shag with some little stools and people with mirrors and people could dress up, put on sunglasses, scarf. Like, wouldn't that be cool to have your house like kind of like a fun house, like a hands-on, like a museum? We went to a children's museum like once. So we couldn't afford to go, and we couldn't afford to go to Tuesday discount days anytime because if you work and go to school all the time, you have to go 100% of the time. You can't take your kid on cheap Tuesday or whatever, where everybody else takes their kids. You guys, you pass. People get their grandma and all these people paying for them to go to the zoo. Like, we never had any of that. People think that people always say, you're lying, you're not poor, you're getting help from relatives, you're this, you're that. And I'm like, dude, like, we are getting our clothes out of the garbage. Like, I was gonna get food out of the trash here, like, out of the, like, out, not in the trash, but outside of the trash can. People put up cans and stuff. I was gonna go get the food. I saw the neighbors had some food in the, looks like from a food box they left out in their back porch. I was about to go ask them, like, do you not want that? Because I'll take it, like, and then my kids are like, don't take the food out of the garbage, Mom, we're scared of where it came from, like, like they get mad, and they're used to being little kids and being embryos that were very malnourished, so they're like, it's not worth it. Like, but for me, it's like, as a mom, you want to provide, or you're working so hard, you feel like you're gonna pass out yourself. You're like limiting your diet because of finances, and like, I volunteer in a food pantry, and I can't go there as a client, and so much food gets thrown away because sometimes it's just rotten when we get it in the first place, and sometimes nobody takes it, like produce and stuff, like cans and whatever's different. Produce and stuff is going in garbage. Nobody's taking out all of that much. It's too much. And I had to come home and buy my kids 3 potatoes from the store. Like, yeah, you could buy a bag for like $2, but then they had a problem with the non-organic. And I was like, oh, but I threw potatoes and I forget about them, and I put them on the table, like in the light. Like, oh my god, these are gonna get mushy. I gotta, you know. And it's so sad when you do stores and you do. It'd be like being a doorman at a really expensive condo, and you're like, well, I'm making money in tips. It's different. You're like, yeah, I can never afford to live here. Like, do they expect their workers to be able to afford to live here? Like, what if they could? What if they had a choice? Like, you had to make a whole bunch of money to live there, so that's why you're the doorman. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, if I make pizzas, I can't afford a pizza. I can't, like, I tried to buy pizzas in the beginning because there was, like, coupons and specials, but then that one manager was charging me, like, if I used a coupon, it would have been like $6, but he was charging me like $20, and it was like, I was trying to keep one of them I messed up out of the garbage because I messed up, and I ended up getting charged like $20. And if I had gone and used the coupon, he goes, I'm not gonna let you use the coupon. If I had ordered online and my kids can't pick it up, then like they would have paid the $7. Like, I was like so mad. That, like, I basically, what you have to do is not use the customer, like, you're gonna pay more than the customer. Basically, if you want to buy the pizza, if you're a customer with a coupon or order online special, you're gonna get pay less than I would if I bought my kids a pizza. So basically, if there's a mess up one or somebody cancels a pizza, so basically, you gotta go to the garbage. So I had to go home and say, wow, I saw that whole cooked pizza in the trash, and my kids are hungry, like, complaining, want to work. The younger one wants to work to help buy food, and it's like, we have to throw this away. And it's, I understand, like, at a store, same thing, like, if there's a pile of bananas that are going brown and you have way too many new ones, they're going to put it in the compost. Like, they're not going to say, oh, you really like to make banana bread, here you go. Like, it's not like you're purposely rotting the bananas and trying to tell the guy, oh, I guess I have to take these home. Like, but it's like, they got to pay someone to haul that junk away. And you're, like, those people at that store I'm talking about, they make enough to buy bananas. But you're like, wow, I can't even, like, the other day, it stinks to go to compost at the food pantry. I'm like, oh my god, I almost feel like garbage. I almost feel like picking, like, I almost feel like dumpster diving because I'm so hungry. So I end up buying a snack for myself on credit card, and I don't have the money to pay. I don't have the money to pay the credit card. I'm really shaking right now, like, scared to death. And if I could go to food pantry, I would go, but it's literally open when I work. And putting your food on a credit card and being in super debt versus taking the cash from your paycheck, taking cash from your paycheck to pay your rent. So you have to choose rent over food. Um, you got to choose going to work versus going to food pantry. So the less I'd be willing to work and the less I'd be willing to go out of the house or even take classes, the easier it would be to get welfare and handouts. And then a lot of those people are very obese because they're getting every handout from everybody and they're not working and they're capable of working. Some of them people are getting child support or they're married or they're on disability or all the above, or then when their kids are on disability. If someone capable of working, they say, why should we work if we get so much free from the government? But then people like me that are working all the time, I can't even afford the basics, and we can't get even a fraction of what the other people get for free. Like, and my whole motto, my whole life, well, half of my life was to do service in my job and in my community for volunteering and for pay that gives back to community and get out of debt as soon as possible and use that money to build a retirement so that I'm not having to be a beggar myself, but to be able to support low income people and um, underserved populations. And what happened is I haven't even been able to support my own self, let alone support another village. And so it's gotten really, really scary. Like sometimes if you're like completely not a narcissist, then maybe you don't have a lot of like self-preservation. Like you don't have an ounce of self-preservation. Like maybe you need to be a little bit selfish. Like you don't necessarily have to have a mental disorder or be a narcissist, but maybe you should be a little bit selfish about, no, you're not just going to come in and rape me and steal all my cash like that I don't have, but even my quarters, like don't even, like you got to like lock the doors and not let those people out. Like you had to be a little bit, it's like maybe I should have been a little bit selfish when I went to medical school instead. You know, I told myself I'll make at least a living. I'll like make at least minimum wage. Nope. I'm making like a negative minimum wage every month, a negative 2,000 every month, a negative 1,600 every month. Not including for the loans, I'm making negative 3,000 probably a month or 4,000 a month negative, making my loan get bigger every month. And so I should be paying 7,000 a month on my loan. I don't even earn 7,000 a year. Can you believe that? Can you believe how poor I am? And that's so sad. Working 7 days. I asked you guys to help me support 1,000 lifetime views up to 10,000. I want to monetize my channel. The story with the guy, I don't think I finished it. I think I was going to work when I went through that. It was basically, I was teaching a class and I was trying to be grounded with the earth, keeping things a little old-fashioned, horseback riding. So flying kites, playing marbles, playing jacks, fishing, going out in boats, like non-motorized boats, new sailboats, rowboats, and then using the advanced technology. Now, I never used advanced technology because it costs money. And when I was younger, I lived under my parents' money. We had advanced technology for the time, the early cell phones, early computers, state of the art, and you knew how they worked inside and out. Now it's just like bland. So there's someone coughing.